What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another VOD review. Today we are doing it. We're doing the Wasianiverson VOD review because this guy, I mean, look at his match history. It's absolutely insane. He hit rank 1 NA. This graph just looks insane, just up and to the right. And you can see every yellow one here is a first. In his last 20, half of the games are first. If you scroll down here to this graph, I mean, this is the crazy thing. This is, I believe, his last 50, 21 firsts in there. The graph just looks absolutely insane. This tells the entire story here. And if you scroll through the match history, it tells the story pretty well as well. There's not a lot of AD flex in here. The Corki, the Yi type stuff that to many people is the meta. Not even that much ASOL. Every once in a while there's one in here. But really Wasian is saying, every chance I get, I'm going fast 9 here. Fast 9 game, 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 fast 9 game. Every chance he gets, he is going fast 9. And so I wanted to take a look at how Wasian so frequently goes fast 9, what he's doing to actually get there, and also just how he's capping this level 9 board, how he's playing around it. So checks his stuff. Nothing really amazing here, honestly. The drone uplink, not very good if we do want to play towards a Master Yi setup, so probably not going to do that. Going to hold on to the Leona pair here, just because it kind of makes sense, though it's not, necessarily a crazy opener. Can play decently into some AP flex stuff, and we have list pair as well, so hopefully we can hold on to that, as well as the Rek'Sai here, which is kind of like an always hold here. Gets a lot of gold here, so he opts to, sell the Psionic there and pick up the rest of the stuff, and does have this really nice Rek'Sai 2 plus Belveth opener. So things are looking good to play a Primordian opener, which is oftentimes step 1 in the Fast 9 process, is that this Primordian opener is just very good as a win streak econ opener, and so that's a great step 1, is to potentially be able to play this. Now, here's where already the game gets quite interesting. Turn Meepnal Velocity, Lunch Money, Item Grab Bag here. I think most players would see all of these and go, bleh, I'm not really excited about any of these in this spot here. And I will say, I think his augment choice will surprise you here. I mean, try to think about what you would take in this spot. What do you think Wasianiverson might take in this spot here? Remember, it's the rerolls portal, so we get 5 rerolls to start the game. And what Wasianiverson's going to do here is he's going to see this, he's going to roll right here, roll left here, and he actually hovers item grab bag and says, I like this augment here. Hovers risky moves and says, maybe we could take this. But he ends up scouting the lobby, seeing it's really not that crazy in terms of lobby strength, and so he ends up picking item grab bag here. Now, why would we take item grab bag? I think in a lot of people's estimations, this is just kind of a pretty mediocre augment. He does also have 3 Timebreaker as an opener as well, so it's kind of like, dealer's choice which opener that he wants to play here. He opts to play the Primordian opener as well. So what is the reasoning behind all these decisions? Well, item grab bag actually makes a lot of sense in a spot like this. We already have a pretty good opener. We have the upgraded Rek'Sai. We actually have multiple potential item carries here, and here the game is going to get even more interesting. He's got the 5 free rerolls here, so we're not in a reroll patch, we're in a tempo patch, potential fast 9 patch, so we're going to use these rerolls on level 4 to try to find an upgrade that can spike our board, and we pick up the Gwen here, and all of a sudden, our board looks really good. And this was the idea behind item grab bag, is that we had very high odds of finding upgraded units here. We have the Rek'Sai 2, so any tank item can just sit there. If we do use our rerolls, we have very high odds of finding like a Briar 2, or a Belveth 2, or in this case, the Gwen 2 here. And so we can really make usage of these items very well. This is kind of one of the golden rules in TFT, is if you have upgraded units, you want to multiply their effectiveness by putting items onto them, getting to 3 items as quickly as possible. And so in this spot here, where we knew it was very likely that we were going to find upgraded units pretty quickly, we were going to really be able to use basically any item. I mean, any AP item can go onto Gwen, any tank item could go onto the Rek'Sai, and any AD item could have gone onto the Briar, or potentially even like a Belveth 2 down the line. So a lot of positive options for any single item that we get. And we can see, like this player here took Kickstart, which we end up beating the Kickstart player here. Imagine it's mystery loot here, but we'll see. Maybe he wants a tier for whatever reason. I guess you could use that to like slam adaptive. Yeah, and he's going to pick up the tier here to potentially, I doubt that it's going to be Shmojin here, but it could be an adaptive helm. I think that makes a decent amount of sense. But you can see we beat the Kickstart player, which people will think of as more of a tempo augment, right? Oh, and he also gets the bow here for Giant Slayer. Yeah, this is really nice here. So now he gets the double slams here, and this is once again tempo, right? Trying to slam as many items as possible to win streak in spots like this. Rotate into a player like this who only has 1 item slammed. Their board can never beat ours, even if they had more upgrades. Like the Kickstart player had more upgrades than us. Was level 5 as well when we rotated into him. But we had better items because we were up an entire item from the item grab bag. So this is step 1 towards getting it to level 9 is win streaking, obviously. Now, step 2 is what opener are we playing here? We're playing around this Primordian opener. This is the only opener in the game that, one, snowballs your board strength naturally. You get those upgrades naturally. It gives you the Briars, it gives you the Belvets, and gives you upgraded units. Timebreaker is another econ opener, but it does not have that same effect. It gives you the EXP, but it's not that likely that you're gonna be able to like get the XP and just like boom, push straight to 6 here. Also, this fight's insanely close. We do just barely win. That is actually so huge for his game plan, and puts us into a really good spot. So Primordian just makes more sense as this kind of like win streak opener that will allow you to final your upgrades. It also does give you real gold. If you're lose streaking with Timebreaker, you don't actually get any gold. You get kind of like equivalent gold value. You get the rerolls, which is all in good. I mean, rerolls are very useful as well, and hopefully we'll get the Timebreaker in stage 4, as we've talked about many times, to loss streak, and get some extra value that way. And this is why he's holding on to these Timebreaker units, as you can see here. However, that doesn't actually help you reach level 9, right? You can have 20 rolls but not be able to reach 9, and it's kind of like, okay, what's the good in that? Also, look at this, the double GS slam here. This is something you see so often out of players who are really good at fast 9. He said, I'm not all that concerned about having, perfect items for our units down the line, perfect items for something like my Vex. I really just want to win these fights, and getting that third item slammed, even if it's a repeat item, is still really important. Okay, next augment here, misconnections, partial ascension, dumbify. I don't think it can be dumbify here. I mean, I wouldn't mind that much with misconnections. Oh, I think Band of Thieves is just insta-take, though. Ooh, feeling lucky is also really tempting, but he's just going to go the full combat. Yeah, I think this makes sense, and grab the Band of Thieves. I mean, Band of Thieves is one of the best possible items that you can get in this line, because Teachy is one of the best possible items that you can get in this comp. There's so many units to itemize when you are playing Fast 9. You want to throw items onto the Fiora, onto the Blitzcrank, onto the Graves, even onto the Shen oftentimes. All of these units, it's really hard to have enough items to truly itemize, but Thief's Gloves does that for the kind of like cheap item cost of just one, full item. And so Thieves Gloves, really good in this line. This is why it's very often a mistake in this comp to slam things like Guardbreaker or Steadfast Heart, because you want to save these gloves for the Thief's Gloves. They're so important in this line, and they're also really good for tempo, right? Getting a Thief's Glove here is a really good tempo augment in our spot. It allows us to get items onto this Briar who's got 3 Primordian and 2 Rogue on the board, so it's just a good item, and it's going to be insanely good later. And as you can see, we're also rotating into people like this guy who is playing into Anima player, pretty nice for us because it gives us a free win. Also, tempoing really good when Anima players are in the lobby because, hey, maybe this guy does hit some kind of crazy Anima cash out and they win the game for free. We're never going to be able to beat them. Well, having all this extra HP to work with is really nice. He's looking at another rod here. Yeah, just going for as many items as possible in this spot here. Don't know what's going to come down to. Yeah, chain, really? I mean, he could make the Crown Guard, but this is one of those situations where holding the rod for Gwinsu and the chain for, potentially like Protector's Vow and stuff like that is really tempting. So he's going to slam the chain here. I think we can certainly wait and see our matchup here. If it's somebody really strong, we could think about that Crown Guard slam here. Somebody like that Aesol player, it's a little scary, and he doesn't even completely swap the Gwen side here so that we don't have any chance of our Gwen getting Aesol'd here. Look at this positioning. Yeah, just Gwen all the way over here. Aesol is never going to target her until the fight is basically over or until she dashes forward, but hopefully by then the fight will be won. And yep, it is. We pick up the dub here, and we get to read the components. Really smart from Wasianiverson here. This is this idea of that, like, there's no reason to slam these items if we're going to win the fight anyway, and keeping the optionality open, especially with this kind of stuff, is really valuable. Being able to make Gwinsu's Vow from these items instead of just Crown Guard here is really valuable. So we'll see this board. Oh, there's 6 Dark Star is the only thing that's a little crazy about them. I think with not that many upgrades, we should be okay though. And yeah, their board very unupgraded, so it's actually a little scary. Okay, we got there right before the last Karma cast, so we do pick up the final win here to get to our 10 streak. This is amazing, and talked about this before. Look at his bench. 3 Timebreaker units. Look at his board, actually. He already is the Aatrox fielded. These are the units that whenever I am playing Fast 9, I have these units team plannered out. Aatrox, Akali, and then all the Timebreaker units, because it's very easy to skip these guys in the early game. Skip a random Ezreal or something like that. It's very, very important, though, that you do not skip them so that when stage 4 comes, you can play these guys and any single loss is an extra 2 rerolls, any single win is extra EXP. It's just really, really valuable here. He's going to actually reforge a Rod here, saying, I'd really like to get to that Quincy's Rageblade. Check this as well. He's actually not going to fit Timebreaker in just yet because he knows this lobby's pretty weak. Ooh, wow, that's actually double crazy play there. 1, the Reforge, and 2, he gets the glove and says, I do have so many open components here that I will actually slam out of the glove here. Not going to greed it for another TG. I mean, it makes a lot of sense in this spot. 1 TG is great. Getting to like tons and tons of TGs is really tough. Last augment here, we would love some kind of econ that could push us to level 9. And I mean, I think invested is exactly what the doctor ordered here. Money Monsoon is kind of interesting. I like this a lot better. Yeah, just because it is a lot more upfront gold, a lot more upfront rolls. That's what you want, right? You really want to be able to roll probably 5-1 in this spot here. If you're super, super rich, you can do like a 4-5, but I don't think we're actually rich enough there. And we also want to get the Timebreaker in for enough rounds that we can start getting all those free rerolls here. So you can see after we lose that fight, we were open to keeping our streak there with our board because the lobby was kind of weak. But the second we drop our streak, the 3 Timebreaker comes in, and this is going to sit on our board. Win streaking allows us to loss streak a lot of this stage and have no real penalty. We're going to lose HP, but we're going to be more than healthy enough even if we sack this entire stage here. We're holding on to the Ross as well. Ross really, really core on this board. We can talk about the board because the board's actually, it's changed a little bit with the advent of some extra units. Ross is a unit where basically everyone's playing one of these board these days. Morgana's kind of an interesting one. Jhin is another interesting unit, and the upgrade path for Graves has also changed since, you know, the old school like Assault Florm one where you're taking stuff like Grab Booster and stuff like that. No longer really the best option. Though I will say Graves, I've seen lots of different versions of Graves works, so it's actually quite interesting. All right, last setup here. Does the BF do a lot for you? You have like Gunblade Slam. I mean, items are obviously never bad in this line here, and so it's, yeah, okay, we are going to take this here. Okay, I mean, I think it's decent enough. Can be stuff like Edge of Night, Stare Axe. We don't feel bad about it. We are still on the look for that bow here. He takes Cloak here. Huh, that's actually kind of interesting. I'm not really sure what this is going to go towards. The Maokai is actually also an interesting unit that you don't 100% need, but he can be a good escape hatch in this line. If you cannot reach Nunu 2, because Nunu 2 is incredibly contested, Maokai 2 plus Tahm Kench 2 can be your out for your front line. You need to keep that option open a lot of the time. You can see that's why he's actually holding onto the Maokai, though he does want to make his 80 gold for invested, so he's not like making the Maokai 2 in this spot, but he wants to keep it as an option here because you don't know. You might completely miss on Nunus on your roll down, and having no front line on this board is the easiest way to lose games. If you try to go fast 9 and have no front line, your Vex can be a beast, your Fiora can be a beast, but if they immediately get targeted and die, you're not going to win fights. Nunu's the best because he can see seaboards, but you can see as we're scouting around, there's a lot of Nunus out already, so we might actually have to play this secondary version where we do tank the Thomas Kench plus the Maokai. We'll see. Last fight before we push it, we do take a loss here, down to 36. This is why saving as much HP is really, really important, because we 5 lost this stage. We were 100 HP at the start here, so pretty crazy. We're looking for bow here. We do find it. Have to imagine that this is pretty good. The only downside is you might have double BTs to make, and now I'm going to move it down to 1x speed here for this roll down because there is a lot to do here. He's going to hold on to the TK that we talked about. This is one thing that you should always do, is just full sell your board here to make it a lot easier for yourself to pivot, because we must full sell here. There's no path towards us getting out here that does not involve us just stabilizing the board on these units here. He's rolling for exactly the units in his planner here, which we can talk about as we put the board together. It's looking pretty good. I mean, he has the TK too. He might possibly reach Nunu here as well. Finding a lot of Graves. 0 Vexes yet, which is a little scary. There was another player in this lobby holding Vexes. So, wow, this is actually a pretty low roll down. Not a 1 Vex here. Okay, right at the end, he finds the Vex and has to, end up actually selling out of this Nunu stuff here so that he can play this version. Probably the Jhin is going to get sold here for the Graves too. And this is what we're going to play. So, this is pretty close to the optimal board. Let's talk through this board here. And honestly, I'm done a team planner this. Let's do some cool stuff. Okay, so team builder for this comp, you're always playing Aatrox and Akali every single time. You're always playing Fiora and Vex, as long as you can reach Vex, and we can actually talk about some kind of alternatives to Vex here. The dream frontline is the, and you're always playing Shen to pair with Aatrox here. These 5 units are basically always getting played on your board here. The Vex can get replaced with Jhin if you are in a pinch and you just cannot reach Vex, and that's why he was holding onto the Jhin there. So this is the core of it. Now, normally you do really want to play for this Nunu Blitzcrank setup here. Get Space Groove in, so that's another trait in for your Rost here. And oh yeah, Rost is the other guy who has to always go in. So Nunu Blitz, really, really good to get an extra trait in for Rost and your favorite frontline. But you can't always play this. And so this is what Wajan's doing this game, is he's playing this Maokai Tahm Kench alternative here, which is really, really nice here. So this is then his setup here. You can see this is 8 units. And so you have room for 1+1 on the setup here. If you hit a Graves early enough, then it's always Graves. And if you're in a spot where you can actually win streak, save enough HP to get the Graves upgrades, Graves is by far the highest cap of this board. This is how this guy wins out games, is you have this upgraded Graves and he absolutely pops off, and we'll talk about Graves upgrades as we get further in the game. If you can't reach Graves, then you have some other options. Morgana is a decent unit on this board just for the aura. Sona's not a bad unit on this board for her upgrades and stuff like that. So yeah, that's basically how to think about the line here. So we hit the brawler version of the board here. We can make the Gwynsu's here for the Vex. We're gonna have to make what I imagine is gonna be, I mean, I guess you could go DB. Is that better actually than like a BT Edge of Night, like DB Gargoyle here? I actually kind of like it, but let's see what he goes for. Does he want? Yeah, DB Gargoyle I think makes a lot more sense here. Gets all the items slammed. Beautiful turn from Wasianiverson. Makes that full pivot in 1 round here. Gets to basically everything. Does not have the Vex 2 yet. That's one of the main things that we're missing here. But the Graves 2, the Shen 2, the TK 2, this stuff should be more than enough here. Also, he is pinging this guy going for E3. Okay, so we pick up a Soul Frame. In a lot of people's estimations, this is the best version of Graves. I've seen Graves do pretty well with some of the other frames, but this is the most consistent one, and also uses these AD items. You can kind of flex very nicely between having the items on Fiora or Graves, depending on who you 2-star. If you hit a 2-star Fiora, put the items on her. If you hit a 2-star Graves, put the items on him. Graves will always be the higher cap because he has all these upgrades, obviously, but you know, Fiora will be a little bit stronger in the kind of like mid-game area. So you always take Assault Frame. Now here's where it kind of diverges, this second upgrade here. Because in the past, a lot of people would take Melt Through, play towards this very kind of like tanky Graves. A lot of people, since the nerfs to these, have been taking Buckshot. And it's Buckshot, 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 Buckshot. You are taking Buckshot all the way down. Buckshot, Buckshot Plus, and Buckshot Plus Plus are going to be your next 2 upgrades after this one. And the idea, as you'll see, is every time you take a Buckshot, his cone gets a little bit wider. You get a little bit more bullets in this thing. So it gives him more AoE to the point where once you read Buckshot Plus Plus, he is really hitting the entire front line. Graves' positioning, by the way, the statistics, especially with this kind of build, really like exactly how Wajan's positioning him, just kind of in the middle here. Next item here, we end up taking Warmogs here for more frontline, and I did not see what he took there, but I'm pretty sure it was a Buckshot plus in this spot here. And yeah, he's going to move the Sunfire over to the Maokai here, just get more tank items in this spot, because we're kind of good, right? 6 damage items and a TG made. Really don't need more damage items, really just need enough time for this Vex. And especially because we don't have all this extra CC that the board normally has with the Nunu plus the Blitzcrank, having a really beefy frontline is very much necessary here. As you can see, these fights can be relatively quick, and so you might not actually have enough time to CC the entire board. So yeah, Graves in the middle, just shooting that buck all over the board is exactly what you need to absolutely clear people. This is also a crazy lobby HP-wise, because we win streaked so hard. This guy, I mean, it's 5-6 and the game is nearly over here, rotating into a more capped TF free roll board, which, you know, actually once they reach the Corki, this board is actually pretty decent. And yeah, the fight actually lasts a while, but you can see the Vex plus the Graves just absolutely tearing through the board here. We have not gotten our next upgrade here, but once we reach 6-1, that is very likely to be a Buckshot plus plus, except the game is over. The enemy player, oh, I didn't even get to the last Graves upgrade. Okay, I'll show it for you guys. But this guy FFs because he knows it's unwinnable versus Wasianiverson. If you were to get further in the game and not just win the game instantly here, then your dream game plan is Buckshot, Buckshot Plus, Buckshot Plus Plus into Laser Ballistics. What Laser Ballistics does is it gives your attacks piercing, and so you can actually hit other units in the backline. I will say, I am quite partial to the Graves positioning if you are doing this kind of setup of putting Graves on the second row here, so he gets really, really good AoE. The stats don't like completely love it, so you know, something like this or something like this, so that he is getting like a lot more AoE value on his ult here. I haven't really seen Wasianiverson do this. He's usually leaving him here, and the stats do really like it here, but I'm quite partial to this positioning because it makes a lot more sense from an AoE perspective. Okay, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, please like the video. Helps the channel out a ton and is completely free. Subscribe if you're enjoying my videos. Comment down below, what do you think about Wasian's incredible climb? What do you think about this line? Have you guys been playing it? I mean, the level of consistency that Wasian plays almost seems like you can play this comp every single game, which is absolutely nuts. Check out my Twitch down below for my streams. Took Monday and Tuesday off of streaming as I usually do, but we're going to be streaming all the rest of this week up until Tactician's Trials, which we are going to be playing in this weekend. So that's going to be super exciting. The last tournament of Tier 2 this set, so I'm going to be locked in for that for sure. And also check out my Metafy down below if you guys are playing in Trials or if you just want to push your rank up towards the end of the, well, really halfway through the set, but through the second half of the set. Check that out. VOD reviews, live sessions, group sessions, we got it all there, so go check all that out. Thank you guys for watching as always and supporting my content. It means the world. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.